Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and today we're going to take a look at my Game Week 20 team selection. So as of recording, we have gotten an update on Erling Haaland. I'll put up the code on the screen as I'm editing the video, but basically I'll read out the code right now that on Erling Haaland, Guardiola did say he is still not with the team. He feels better, but he hasn't made one training session with us. Hopefully in January, he can come back with us. So basically, what we can infer from that is that he's pretty much ruled out for game week 20, especially how tight the turnaround is from 19 to 20. There's almost no chance that we'll see Erling Haaland play against Sheffield United. So that kind of puts us in a different situation now, because a couple of us who have saved 2 free transfers of Game Week 20 to bring Haaland back, all of a sudden you are in a spot where you could make one luxury transfer if you need to, or just deal with issues that you haven't had the chance to deal with in a while. And then for those of us with one free transfer, like me in my position, I am in a position where I can choose to roll or use it as well if I really need to. So we're going to my team in a bit. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. I did think as if this would be my last video for the year, but I will be posting an updated wildcard draft for Game Week 20 tomorrow, and that's because this news, of course, has changed the way the wildcard would look. So for those of you on a Game Week 20 wildcard, do keep a lookout for the updated draft tomorrow. So getting into my team, I have one free transfer as I've mentioned, and I have 2.6 million in the bank. Initially, I did think that I would need to take a hit, and my hit would have been Salah and Darwin Núñez out for Erling Haaland and Jarrod Bowen. But it seems as if now I don't really have to make that move, and I'm in a position where I could roll. So let's discuss the team as if I'm in a position, as if I would roll the transfer, and then later on in the transfer tinkering section, I will mention a couple of moves that are still on my mind, namely to bring in Man City players for this Sheffield game. But there's a couple of reasons why I can go for some moves and I can't go for some moves as well. So do keep a lookout for the transfer tinkering section. But for now in Game Week 20, assuming I roll my transfer, this is actually a team that I can go with that looks pretty alright on paper, and I don't mind it at all. Right, so Areola in goal ahead of Dubravka because he plays Brighton at home. Brighton are missing Adingra now. On the bench for me, Adingra is red flagged, so he did miss out in Game Week 19, which I didn't know at that point in time, but unfortunately that's just how FPL is sometimes. So Adingra and Mitoma are out, so Brighton definitely would be weaker in attack. That doesn't mean that they won't score, but at least there is a slightly better chance of Areola keeping a clean sheet than there initially was. And I still do feel like Brighton at home is a better fixture than Liverpool away for Dubravka on the bench, especially given how Newcastle are defending at the moment, which is absolutely horrendous. So, gonna start with Areola for sure. In the backline, there's Porro, Trent, and Konza. I have no issues with all three of them whatsoever. The only dampener for Pedro Porro is that Romero is now out with a hamstring strain for a couple of weeks, so I think there was already not a great chance that they will keep a clean sheet against Bournemouth, because Solanke is just doing so well, and Bournemouth in attack look really good right now. But now it seems as if Bournemouth will almost definitely score, so in fact it does bode well for Solanke, who is in my attack. But in terms of clean sheet potential for Porro, I'm not too optimistic there, especially with the high line that Spurs play, so I'm really hoping for some attacking returns for Porro there. For Trent, it seems as if whichever opponent he plays, whether or not they keep a clean sheet, he can get bonus points and he also can get attacking returns. So Trent is just an asset that I feel I'm going to hold for quite a while, and he feels as if he is kind of justifying his price tag a little bit more nowadays, right? Especially with how attacking he is. Now, Joe Gomez in the team does of course affect the positions that Trent is taking up. It seems as if he's no longer kind of roaming the midfield anymore. He's kind of taking up a little more of a orthodox right back role. So that may not bode too well. But once again, I say with Trent, as always, that whether or not he plays right back or midfield, there is always a chance of attacking returns, because even at full back, you would remember a couple of years ago on Boxing Day where he got a massive 24 point score against Leicester. He was playing as a standard right back in those days. So I feel like Trent at right back, it's not as if his attacking potential has just dropped so much. I still feel like they are in store for Trent Alexander-Arnold. So hoping for an attacking return there. And with how poorly Newcastle have been defending, I would not rule that out at all. Right, so for Konza, he plays Burnley at home. I would have liked to have Moreno in this position because now it seems like Moreno would be the first choice left back because Luka Dean is now out injured. But of course, I went for Konza back in game week 18 where they had Sheffield and obviously didn't keep a clean sheet there. So now I'm stuck with Konza and I don't mind it at all. He is still one of the more nailed Villa defenders. They are coming off a tough game that they just had against Manchester United where they suffered a 3-2 loss even though they were winning 2-0. So hopefully they can bounce back from that, and I think this is the perfect game for them to do it. Burnley at Villa Park, definitely one of the fixtures where I think Villa will do quite well. So in midfield, I have Palmer, Salah, Son, and Saka. So all four of these midfielders, I have no issues with them in game week 20. Saka, of course, I feel as if I want to remove him for a player like maybe Odegaard, but now it's not the time for me to make a luxury transfer. I'll discuss that later on. I have Salah and Son, and both of them will be issues for me come game week 21. I need transfers to remove them, and as I mentioned, I only have one free transfer, so they're not issues right now, but very soon, the next game week, they will be issues for me. So hopefully, before they leave, they give me a parting gift of maybe, hopefully, double-digit hauls for both of them. So Palmer is back into the team after suspension. He has Luton away. Definitely not one of the easier fixtures because Luton at home are really strong, but let's hope that Palmer can get something there. And up front is Darwin Núñez, Solanke, and Ollie Watkins. So for Solanke and Watkins, nothing too much to speak about there. For Darwin Núñez, he's a player that I feel, I hope he starts, but I think there's a slight chance that maybe he's benched. He probably will start because he returned against Burnley and he did pretty well, at least better than his previous games. There is just something in me that still tells me he's not 100% nailed. And my bench cover is not great at all. I have Livramento and Taylor. Adingra is injured. So Darwin Núñez is where I could spend my one free transfer because he is one of the players that I'm not too convinced by. But that has implications if on my future transfers if I actually do a move like Darwin Núñez to Alvarez. So I'll speak about my transfers in the next section. Let's talk about captaincy here. So for captaincy, I have it on Ollie Watkins for now. I'm probably going to captain him. But with the way Newcastle are defending right now, I think there's every chance on the deadline stream I may just shift it to Salah at the end. Right, so for now, this is what I'm thinking about, and this is how the team is looking like if I do roll the transfer, which I am actually maybe 40 to 50% likely to roll the transfer. But let's now take a look at the other half of what I'm more likely to do, which is the transfer tinkering section. So this is my team on Fantasy Football Hub Transfer Planner is exactly as shown in the graphic just now. And let's talk about a couple of transfers that I'm thinking about. So the most obvious one that I feel like I can't do at the moment, and I'll show you guys why, is to do Darwin Núñez out for Julian Alvarez. So after doing this move, I kind of put myself in a situation where I'm not well set up at all for game week 21. So let's move over to game week 21 and you'll see that I have two flagged players here, Son and Salah, both of them going to their respective tournaments, and then I have Adingra who's not playable on the bench. He's nursing an injury as I mentioned, so he's out for a few weeks. Livramento also someone I don't really want to play, he's out of the starting 11 now. Taylor also not a player that I would ideally want to start week in, week out. So I would be in a situation where I kind of have to, maybe even take -8 or -12s in this situation. And that's not even accounting for needing to bring Haaland back. So Julian Alvarez in game week 20, right, if I move us back to 20 now, it kind of puts me in a fix for game week 21. So I don't really like to be stuck in that position. So let's bring Darwin Núñez back in. Now, of course, the system feels as if I'm selling Núñez and then bringing Alvarez back in the same week, and they've taken a couple of 0.2 million out of my bank, but I actually have 2.6 million. So this will be relevant in this next part that I'm talking about. So I feel like if I am likely to make a transfer, it will be to deal with my issues first, and those are Livramento and Adingra. Both of them are already new from game week 20 onwards. I need to sell them. So I could just deal with the most pertinent issue, which is Adingra out for Phil Foden. So the reason why I like this move is, of course, it sets me up better moving forward. As I mentioned, the -0.2, I do have just nice 2.6 million, so I can afford this move if I really want to do it. It sets my team up better than doing Darwin Núñez to Julian Alvarez, and I'll show you guys in this next section. So from game week 21, As I've mentioned, Salah and Son will be leaving for their respective tournaments. So what I can simply do is to bring Foden into the starting 11, and I can remove Salah. And by then, if in Game Week 21 I need to bring Erling Haaland back in, it would probably be for that same hit that I initially wanted to take in Game Week 20, which was to do Salah and Nunes out, for Haaland in, and Bowen or Richarlison in place of this midfield spot as well. So that would just be a -4 in Game Week 21, but I think it sets my team up pretty nicely. And then moving forward, of course, say Game Week 22, I can then remove Son. So I will be in a much better position if I do this Foden move. So when I move back to Game Week 20 now, it's either I go with this team that you see in the starting 11 and I keep Adingra on the bench, or I make this Foden move and then I bring Darwin Núñez onto the bench instead, if I'm not confident that Darwin Núñez would do well in this fixture or even start. So that's where I'm at right now. It's either Foden in or Alvarez in. Let me know what you guys, or roll of course. Let me know what you guys would do in my position. There's really 3 options, and I'm kind of 50-50 right now, if I'm honest. I don't really know what to do. I'll probably decide on the deadline stream, but for the time being, I'm really not close to any decision at all. So I would appreciate your help. Let me know in the comments down below. But if not, I will see you guys in the updated wildcard video tomorrow that I'll post sometime in the morning so that you guys can watch it before the Game Week 20 deadline on Saturday. But if not, thank you for watching to this point. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. And I will catch you guys tomorrow in the wildcard video.